The warehouse smelled of rust and rain. Madison Cooper pressed her back against the cold metal wall, her recorder clutched in one trembling hand, her heart hammering so loud she was certain the entire building could hear it. She had come to Seoul chasing ghosts, hunting for stories that would make her true crime podcast finally matter. What she found instead was the devil himself. 3 minutes earlier, she had been documenting the abandoned warehouse district for episode 47 of Cold Cases, Hot Takes. 3 minutes earlier, she had believed the worst thing that could happen was getting caught trespassing by Korean police. 3 minutes earlier, she had not watched a man die. The crack of the gunshot still echoed in her ears. Through the gap in the shipping containers, she had seen everything. The man on his knees, begging in rapid Korean. The circle of suited figures watching without emotion. And him, the one who had pulled the trigger with the casual precision of someone, signing a document, Choi Sang-woo. Even from 30 feet away, even in the dim warehouse light filtering through broken windows, Madison recognized him from her research. The Ghost of Seoul, they called him. The man who ruled the city's underground with an iron fist wrapped in Armani silk. The man who never, ever left witnesses. Madison's hand moved to her phone, fingers flying across the screen. Upload episode, schedule for 30 minutes. If she died tonight, at least her work would survive. At least someone would know what happened here. You can come out now. The voice cut through the warehouse, like a blade through paper. Smooth, controlled, speaking English with only the faintest accent. Madison's blood turned to ice water in her veins. I know you're there. Sang-woo continued, his footsteps echoing closer. Behind the blue container, recording everything, I imagine. Very brave, very stupid. Madison had two choices. Run and likely get shot in the back. Or face him and, maybe, just maybe, talk her way out of this. She thought of her sister, Lily, murdered 3 years ago in New York. Case still unsolved. Madison had promised herself she would never be a victim. She stepped out. The warehouse seemed to shrink around Choi Sang-woo's presence. He stood 20 feet away, hands in his pockets, looking at her with the detached interest of a scientist studying a specimen. He was younger than she had expected, maybe early 30s, with sharp cheekbones and eyes that held no warmth whatsoever. Blood speckled his white shirt like abstract art. American, he said, tilting his head slightly. Journalist? Podcaster, Madison corrected, lifting her chin. If she was going to die, she would not cower. Madison Cooper, Cold Cases, Hot Takes, episode 47 just uploaded to the cloud. If I don't check in within the hour, it goes live to 50,000 subscribers. A ghost of something crossed his face. Amusement, perhaps. 50,000, he repeated. Impressive. What brings a podcaster to my warehouse at 2 in the morning? Research, Madison said. Her voice stayed steady even as his men formed a circle around her. The Kim Soo-jin murder, 2019. This was the last place she was seen alive. And you thought you'd find evidence the police missed? I thought I'd find a story. You found one, Sang-woo said. Just not the one you were looking for. He nodded to his men. 2 of them stepped forward. Madison's body coiled like a spring. Wait, she said quickly. You kill me, my podcast uploads. Your face is on it. This location, the murder I just witnessed. Every detail. You'll have Interpol, the Korean National Police, and the FBI crawling through your life within days. I could have you delete it. Biometric lock. Needs my face and my pulse. If my heart stops, the failsafe triggers. The upload happens anyway. This was a lie, but Madison sold it with every fiber of her being. Sang-woo studied her for a long moment, those cold eyes taking her apart piece by piece. Interesting, he said finally. He pulled out his phone, typed something quickly. Your podcast. Cold Cases, Hot Takes. Latest episode was 3 days ago, the apartment 4B mystery. You have a good voice, clear, confident. You speak about death like you understand it. My sister was murdered, Madison said before she could stop herself. So yes, I understand death. Something shifted in his expression, so subtle, she almost missed it. The man I killed tonight, Sang-woo said, gesturing to where the body had been moments ago, already removed by his efficient crew. Do you want to know what he did? Does it matter? He sold children, Sang-woo said simply. 12 of them in the last month alone. The youngest was 7. The police knew. They did nothing. Too much money changing hands. So I did something. Madison's certainty wavered. She had come here looking for monsters, but monsters did not usually kill other monsters. You're lying, she said. Sang-woo pulled out his phone again, swiped through something, and held it out to her. Photos, documents, police reports that had been buried, financial transfers, a whole digital trail of horror that made her stomach turn. Your sister, he said quietly. Lily Cooper, 24 years old. Elementary school teacher. Found in Riverside Park. Case went cold after 3 months. Madison's world tilted. How do you? I make it my business to know things. Especially about people who threaten me. He pocketed his phone. Here's what's going to happen, Madison Cooper. You're going to be my guest for a while. You'll delete that episode, and in exchange, I'll give you a story that will make your 50,000 subscribers seem quaint. Guest, Madison repeated. That's a nice word for hostage. Would you prefer prisoner? Captive? I'm flexible. I prefer alive. Then we understand each other. He turned to his men, switching to rapid Korean, then back to her. You'll come with us. Don't make this difficult. Madison weighed her options. The warehouse had multiple exits, but his men blocked them all. Her phone was her only weapon, and it was a weak one. I want guarantees, she said. You're in no position to negotiate. I'm in the only position that matters. I'm the one with my finger on the button that could destroy your life. She held up her phone. One tap, that's all it takes. Sang-woo moved faster than she thought possible. One moment he was 10 feet away. The next, his hand was around her wrist, not painful but absolutely immovable. He smelled like expensive cologne and gunpowder. You're brave, he said, his voice low. But bravery and stupidity are separated by the thinnest of lines. Don't cross it. Madison met his eyes, those dark pools that promised nothing but danger. Same advice, right back at you. For a moment, they stood frozen, predator and prey, trying to determine which was which. Then, Sang-woo smiled, a real smile that transformed his face for just a heartbeat. I think I'm going to enjoy this, he said. The black car swallowed the Seoul streets in silence. Madison sat between two of Sang-woo's men, her hands zip-tied in front of her, professional but not painful. Sang-woo sat across from her, scrolling through his phone with the casual indifference of a man on his morning commute rather than someone who had just committed murder. My editor knows where I am. Madison lied. No, she doesn't, Sang-woo said without looking up. You told her you were investigating the docks. You're 3 miles from there. My location services. Already disabled. We're very thorough. Madison fell silent, watching the city blur past the tinted windows. Seoul at night was a neon dream, all lights and life and secrets. She had been here for 4 days, chasing shadows and stories. Now she was part of one. Why didn't you just kill me? She asked finally. Sang-woo looked up from his phone. Would you prefer I had? I prefer understanding my situation. You intrigue me, he said simply. Most people who witness what you did would have run, screamed, or frozen. You started recording. Then you tried to weaponize it. That takes a particular kind of person. A stupid one, according to you. Brave and stupid, I said. The combination is rare. The car turned into an underground garage, fluorescent lights flashing past in hypnotic rhythm. Madison counted turns, trying to map their route, but the garage seemed to go on forever, a concrete maze designed to disorient. Finally, they stopped. The door opened, and she was guided out, not roughly, but with unmistakable firmness. An elevator, no buttons, just a keycard reader. They rose for what felt like forever. When the doors opened, Madison's expectations shattered. She had imagined a warehouse, maybe a seedy office. Instead, she stepped into what looked like a luxury hotel penthouse. Floor to ceiling, windows showcased Seoul's skyline. Modern art decorated the walls. Everything was clean lines and expensive taste. Your prison, Sang-woo said, gesturing around the space. I trust it meets your standards. It's nicer than my apartment in Brooklyn, Madison admitted before she could stop herself. The bedroom is through there. Bathroom is ensuite. The kitchen is fully stocked, the windows are bulletproof, and the door locks from the outside, so don't bother trying anything dramatic. How long? Until I decide what to do with you. That's not an answer. It's the only one you're getting tonight. He nodded to one of his men, who cut her zip ties. Your phone, please. Madison handed it over reluctantly, her last connection to the outside world gone. There's a laptop on the desk, Sang-woo said. Internet access is restricted, but you can write. I know journalists. You get restless without your words. I'm a podcaster. You're a storyteller. The medium is irrelevant. He turned to leave, then paused. The man I killed tonight. His name was Park Jong-soo. He had a wife and 2 children who think he's a businessman. They're better off believing that lie than knowing the truth. Some stories don't need to be told. All stories need to be told, Madison said. That's how we make sense of the world. Then you have a very dark world to make sense of, Madison Cooper. The door closed with a soft click that sounded like a gunshot in the silence. Madison stood alone in the luxurious prison, her mind racing. She walked to the windows, looking out at Seoul, spread below like a circuit board of lights. Somewhere out there, people were living normal lives, unaware that she had just become a ghost story herself. She thought about Lily. Her sister would have been 27 now. Would have been teaching 4th grade, probably married to that boyfriend she had been so crazy about. Would have been alive if Madison had not canceled their dinner plans that night. If she had been there, maybe things would have been different. The laptop sat on the desk like an invitation. Madison opened it, finding a basic word processor and nothing else. No internet browser, no communication apps. Just a blank page waiting for words. She started typing. Day 1. I am being held by the ghost of Seoul. I witnessed him commit murder. By all rights, I should be dead. Instead, I'm sitting in what appears to be a $1 million apartment, typing on a laptop he provided, trying to understand why I'm still breathing. The words flowed, part diary, part investigation notes. She documented everything: the warehouse, the murder, Sang-woo's strange mercy. Every detail that might matter later. If there was a later, hours passed. The Seoul skyline shifted from neon night to gray dawn. Madison kept typing, lost in the familiar comfort of organizing chaos into narrative. The door opened. She spun, expecting Sang-woo, but found a woman instead. Middle-aged, professionally dressed, carrying a tray of food that smelled like heaven. Breakfast, the woman said in accented English. She set the tray on the coffee table. Traditional Korean dishes Madison did not recognize, plus coffee that definitely came from an expensive machine. Thank you, Madison said. I don't suppose you could accidentally leave the door unlocked? The woman's expression did not change. Mr. Choi says you are to be treated well. Anything you need, use the intercom. She left. Madison tried the door anyway. Locked, of course. She ate slowly, surprised by her hunger. The food was incredible, better than anything she had eaten since arriving in Seoul. This was beyond strange. Kidnappers did not usually provide gourmet meals and laptops. The door opened again. This time, it was Sang-woo. He had changed clothes, now wearing a charcoal gray suit that probably cost more than Madison made in a month. His hair was perfectly styled, his shoes polished to mirror shine. He looked like a CEO heading to a board meeting, not a man who had killed someone less than 12 hours ago. Sleep well? He asked. I didn't sleep. Writing then. Good. Idle hands and all that. He sat down across from her, movements fluid and controlled. I have a proposition. I'm listening. The episode you claim to have uploaded. Delete it. In exchange, I'll give you something better. An exclusive. The real story of what happens in Seoul's underworld. Why would you do that? Because stories have power, Madison Cooper. And right now, you have the power to tell mine incorrectly. I'd rather control the narrative. Madison leaned back, studying him. In the morning light, she could see details she had missed before. A thin scar along his jaw, calluses on his knuckles that suggested he had not always fought with guns. Eyes that held depths of something she could not quite name. You want me to be your propaganda machine, she said. I want you to tell the truth, just not all of it. That's not the truth then, isn't it? Every story you tell on your podcast, you edit. You choose what to include, what to leave out. You shape reality into narrative. I'm simply asking you to do the same here. He had a point, and Madison hated that he had a point. What makes you think I won't just lie? Agree to your terms, then expose everything the moment I'm free? Because you're a storyteller, Sang-woo said, and I'm about to give you the greatest story of your career. The trafficking ring that killed your sister? They're still operating. Still taking girls. The Park Jong-soo I eliminated last night was part of their network. Madison's world stopped. You're lying. Sang-woo pulled out a tablet, swiped through it, and handed it to her. Police files, crime scene photos she had never seen, financial records, names, dates, connections, all centered around her sister's death. Lily Cooper was not random, he said quietly. She was targeted. She had been tutoring the daughter of a diplomat who was getting too close to exposing the ring. Your sister was a warning. Madison's hands shook as she scrolled through the files. Everything she had spent 3 years trying to uncover was here, laid out like a roadmap to hell. Why do you have this? She whispered. Because the same ring killed my sister, Sang-woo said. 6 years ago, Minji was 19. She was going to be a doctor. They took her because she refused the advances of the wrong man. By the time I found her, there was nothing left to save. Madison looked up, meeting his eyes. The cold distance was still there, but underneath, she saw something else. Pain, carefully controlled but unmistakably real. That's why you do this, she said. The murders. You're hunting them. I'm destroying them, piece by piece, person by person, until there's nothing left but ash and regret. The police are either bought or bureaucratic. Justice doesn't live in courtrooms, Madison. It lives in moments like last night, when evil meets something worse than itself. Madison set down the tablet, her mind reeling. Everything she thought she knew was shifting, rearranging into new patterns. What do you want from me? She asked. Help, Sang-woo said simply. You're an investigator. You see patterns, connections. You know how to find information without raising suspicion. Work with me, and we'll destroy the people who killed our sisters. And if I refuse, then you remain my guest until I'm certain you won't compromise my work. That could be weeks, months, years. That's not much of a choice. It's more than most people get. Madison stood, pacing to the windows. The city looked different in daylight, less magical, more real. Somewhere out there, the men who had killed Lily were living their lives, thinking they had gotten away with it. I need guarantees, she said. Such as? I maintain my autonomy. I'm your partner, not your puppet, within reason. I need to be able to contact my editor. Not about this, but she'll worry if I go completely silent. Supervised contact only. And when we're done? When the ring is destroyed? You're free to go. Tell whatever story you want, as long as it doesn't compromise my other operations. Madison turned back to him. Why should I trust you? You shouldn't, Sang-woo said, standing. Trust is earned, not given. But consider this. I could have killed you last night. I could have tortured the information out of you. Instead, I'm offering you partnership and purpose. That should tell you something. It tells me you're practical. Practicality is a virtue in my world. He moved toward the door, then paused. Think about it. You have until tonight to decide, and if I say yes, then we begin hunting monsters together. The door closed behind him, leaving Madison alone with the weight of impossible choices. She looked at the tablet still sitting on the coffee table, her sister's case files calling to her like a siren song. She picked it up and began to read. By noon, Madison had read everything twice. The tablet contained 3 years of investigation, threads she had never seen, connections she had missed. Whoever had compiled this was thorough, methodical, and absolutely ruthless in their pursuit of truth. The trafficking ring was not just large, it was institutional. Politicians, police commissioners, business executives. They had built a network that spanned continents, moving people like products, destroying lives for profit. Lily had stumbled into their web accidentally. The diplomat's daughter she tutored, Sun-hee, had overheard a conversation she should not have. When she told Lily, seeking advice from the only adult she trusted outside her family, Lily had made the fatal mistake of believing the system would protect them. Madison found the police report Lily had filed. It had been buried within hours, marked as unsubstantiated. 2 days later, Lily was dead. The intercom buzzed. Yes? Madison said, pressing the button. Lunch is ready, the same woman from breakfast announced. Thank you. Madison barely tasted the food, her mind spinning through possibilities. If even half of what was in these files was true, she was looking at the story of the decade. But more than that, she was looking at justice for Lily. The door opened. She expected Sang-woo, but instead got someone unexpected. He was younger, maybe late 20s, with an easy smile and clothes that suggested comfort over style. He carried a medical bag and looked at her with genuine warmth. You must be Madison, he said in perfect English. I'm Dr. Kim. Just Kim is fine. I'm here to check you over, make sure you're okay. I'm fine. Humor me. Sang-woo would be very upset if his guest was injured. The word guest made Madison almost laugh. Kim approached slowly, like she was a spooked animal, and did a basic examination. Blood pressure, pupils, reflexes. You haven't slept, he observed. Hard to sleep when you're kidnapped. Technically, you're detained. Kidnapping implies ransom or trafficking. This is more. Protective custody. You're splitting hairs. I'm a doctor. Precision matters. He packed up his bag. Can I give you some advice? Can I stop you? Kim smiled. Sang-woo is many things, some of them terrible. But he's not a liar. If he says the ring killed your sister, it's true. If he says he'll let you go when this is over, he will. You sound like you know him well. I've been patching him up for 5 years. You learn a lot about a man when you're pulling bullets out of him at 3 a.m. Why do you help him? Kim's expression darkened. Because 6 years ago, I was an intern at Seoul General. A young woman was brought in, beaten so badly I couldn't recognize her as human. I spent 6 hours trying to save her. I failed. That was Minji, Sang-woo's sister. Madison felt the weight of that revelation settle over her. After that, Kim continued, I watched the system fail. The men responsible were never charged. Evidence disappeared. Witnesses recanted. I realized sometimes the law isn't enough. Sometimes you need someone willing to work outside it. He headed for the door, then turned back. Give him a chance. You might find you have more in common than you think. Alone again, Madison returned to the tablet. She pulled up the files on Park Jong-soo, the man Sang-woo had killed. His official record was spotless. Successful businessman, charity donor, family man. The hidden files told a different story. Offshore accounts, encrypted communications, photos that made Madison's stomach turn. One photo stopped her cold. It was from a charity gala 2 years ago. Park Jong-soo shaking hands with a man Madison recognized. Thomas Chen, the NYPD detective who had handled Lily's case, the one who had told Madison there were no leads, no suspects, nothing to pursue. She enlarged the photo. In the background, barely visible, was another familiar face. Marcus Webb, the prosecutor who had declined to pursue charges when Madison had brought him evidence of suspicious financial transactions around Lily's death. They knew each other, they were connected. Madison felt rage build in her chest, hot and pure. 3 years of being told she was seeing patterns that did not exist. 3 years of being dismissed as a grieving sister unable to accept reality. They had known all along. The door opened. Sang-woo entered, and immediately noticed the photo on the screen. Now, you understand, he said simply. They knew, Madison said, her voice tight with fury. Chen and Webb. They knew who killed Lily, and they covered it up. Chen receives $50,000 a month from the ring. Webb owns property in Seoul purchased through shell companies tied to trafficking profits. They're not just complicit, they're participants. Madison stood abruptly, pacing like a caged animal. I want them destroyed. Then work with me. She spun to face him. What would you need me to do? Investigation. Analysis. Pattern recognition. Things you're already good at. I have resources, but limited perspective. You think differently than my people. You see stories where we see data. And the danger? Minimized but not eliminated. This is war, Madison. Quiet, careful war, but war nonetheless. Madison walked to the window, looking out at the city. 3 years of grief and frustration and helpless anger. 3 years of being told to move on, to let it go, to accept that some cases never get solved. I need to know something, she said. Why haven't you killed Chen and Webb already? You clearly know about them. Because killing them accomplishes nothing. Others would replace them within days. I need to destroy the entire network, root to stem. That requires patience, strategy, and now, perhaps, you. Madison turned back to him. I have conditions. I'm listening. First, I'm not killing anyone. I'll help you investigate, identify, strategize. But I won't pull triggers. Acceptable. Second, I need proof, not just files and photos, real, undeniable proof that can be verified. I'm not taking anyone's word for anything, not even yours. That can be arranged. Third, when this is over, I want everything. Every file, every connection, every name. I'm going to tell this story, and I'm going to tell it right. With certain redactions for operational security. Fine. But the core story, the truth about the ring and what they did, that goes public. Agreed. Madison took a deep breath. Then, I'll help you. Sang-woo nodded slowly. There's something else you should know. The ring has a gathering tomorrow night. A charity auction at the Grand Hyatt. Public face, private purpose. Every major player will be there, including Chen and Webb. Webb is flying in specifically for it. Madison felt her pulse quicken. We're going? I'm going. You're staying here where it's safe. Like hell, you want my help? Then I'm involved. I spent 3 years investigating these people from the outside. I know their patterns, their tells. You need me there. It's too dangerous. Everything about this is dangerous. But I'm not sitting in this tower while you fight my battles. Sang-woo studied her for a long moment. You'd need to play a role, my companion for the evening. Can you do that? I can be whoever I need to be, even if it means pretending to care for a man like me. The question hung between them, loaded with implications Madison was not ready to examine. I'm an excellent actress when motivated, she said finally. Then we have work to do. The auction is in 32 hours. You'll need preparation. What kind of preparation? The kind that keeps you alive in a room full of predators. He moved to the door, then paused. Your phone? You wanted to? Contact your editor. He pulled her phone from his pocket, handed it to her. 5 minutes. Speaker phone. Tell her you're following a lead and will be out of contact for a few days. Nothing more. Madison took the phone, surprised by the trust. You're not afraid I'll say something? You won't. You want this as much as I do now. I saw it in your eyes when you recognized Chen. He was right. Madison dialed her editor's number, crafting a lie that was not entirely false. She was following a lead, the story of her life. She just happened to be doing it as a voluntary hostage of the Korean Mafia. After the call, Sang-woo took the phone back. Get some rest. Tomorrow, your education begins. Education in what? How to survive in my world long enough to burn it down. That night, Madison finally slept. Her dreams filled with charity galas and gunshots, designer gowns and blood. Her sister's laugh, and the cold precision in Sang-woo's eyes when he had pulled that trigger. She woke to find a dress hanging in her room, black, elegant, expensive. A note was attached in precise handwriting. For tomorrow night, be ready at 7. Madison touched the fabric, silk like water under her fingers. She was about to walk into the heart of darkness, wearing designer clothing and false smiles. But if it meant justice for Lily, she would walk into hell itself. The next day passed in a blur of preparation. A woman arrived to do Madison's hair and makeup, transforming her from travel-worn podcaster to someone who belonged at high society events. Sang-woo appeared periodically, coaching her on names, relationships, dynamics she needed to understand. Park's widow will be there, he said. She doesn't know what her husband really was. Keep it that way. What about the others? Smile, listen, say little. Your decoration, not participation. Let them underestimate you. Story of my life, Madison muttered. Something flickered in his eyes. I doubt that very much. By 7, Madison was ready. The dress fit perfectly, the heels were manageable, and she had memorized every name and face Sang-woo had shown her. She looked in the mirror and saw a stranger, someone polished and untouchable. Sang Woo appeared in the doorway, and for a moment, neither of them spoke. He was in a tuxedo that made him look like every dangerous fantasy Madison had ever refused to admit having. The controlled killer was still there, but wrapped in sophistication that made him almost unbearably attractive. "You clean up well," she said, trying to break the tension. "So do you." He offered his arm. "Ready?" "No, good. Confidence is overrated. Fear keeps you sharp." They descended to the garage where a different car waited. A Bentley this time. All leather and power. Sang-woo drove himself, his movements precise and controlled. Madison watched the city pass, neon bleeding into darkness. "Tell me about the ring's leadership," she said. "Three primary figures: David, Kim, the money man. He launders their profits through real estate and art. Michael Park, logistics. He arranges transportation, documentation, protection. And Elizabeth Hahn, recruitment. She identifies targets, sometimes spends months grooming them. They'll all be there tonight?" "Along with 24 others of varying importance. And we're just going to walk in? I'm a respected businessman with questionable connections. My presence surprises no one. Yours, however, will raise questions. What's our story? You're an American investor interested in Seoul's art scene. We met at a gallery opening last week. The attraction was immediate. Is that believable?" Sang-woo glanced at her. "Look in the mirror and tell me it's not." Madison felt heat rise in her cheeks. "I meant your interest in me. I don't typically attend events with companions. Your presence will be noticed, analyzed. They'll assume you're either significant or disposable. Either works for our purposes." "Charming." "This isn't about charm, it's about information. Chen will approach you, guaranteed. He has a weakness for Americans who look like you." "Like me?" "Beautiful, seemingly innocent. He'll see you as potential product." Madison's hands clenched. "Let him try. That's exactly what we want. But you need to control yourself. No matter what he says, what he implies, you're playing a role." "I know how to play roles." "Not like this. This isn't a podcast interview where the worst outcome is no story. These people trade in human suffering. Show them weakness, they'll exploit it. Show them strength, they'll test it. You need to be exactly interesting enough to engage, but not enough to threaten." The hotel appeared before them, lit like a beacon against the night. Sang-woo pulled up to the valet, came around to open Madison's door. His hand on her back was warm, steadying. "Remember," he murmured against her ear, "you're mine tonight. That affords you protection. Use it." They entered through doors that might as well have been portals to another world. The lobby was all marble and gold, crystal chandeliers casting light like scattered diamonds. Beautiful people in beautiful clothes moved through the space with practiced ease. Sang-woo guided her to the ballroom, his presence parting crowds without effort. Madison felt eyes on them, evaluation and speculation in every glance. The ballroom was spectacular. Ice sculptures, floral arrangements that probably cost more than her rent, a string quartet playing something classical and unthreatening. It looked like any charity gala, except Madison now knew the monsters hiding behind the masks. Choi Sung-woo. A man approached, broad and smiling, his tuxedo struggling to contain his bulk. Madison recognized him from the files. "David Kim, the money man." "David," Sang-woo said, shaking his hand. "You look prosperous. The market's been kind." David's eyes moved to Madison, appraising. "And this is?" "Madison Cooper," Sang-woo said. "Madison, David Kim. He collects art." "Among other things," David said, taking Madison's hand, holding it too long. "American?" "Guilty," Madison said with a smile she had practiced in the mirror. "What brings you to Seoul?" "Opportunity," she said. "An interesting company." David laughed. "Sang-woo is certainly that. How did you meet?" "Gallery opening in Gangnam." Sang-woo answered smoothly. "Madison has excellent taste in contemporary pieces. We should discuss that," David said to Madison. "I'm always looking for new perspectives on art." Madison bet he was. "I'd enjoy that." More people approached. Introductions blurred together. Madison smiled, laughed at the right moments, played the role of sophisticated companion while memorizing every face, every connection, every casual revelation. Then she saw him. Thomas Chen stood near the bar, older than his photos, grayer, but unmistakably the man who had looked her in the eye and said, there was nothing he could do about Lily's death. Sang-woo felt her tense. His hand tightened on her waist, a warning. Steady, he murmured. Chen noticed them, started walking over. Madison forced herself to breathe normally. Sang-woo, Chen said, his accent pure New York. Didn't expect to see you here. I like to support good causes, Sang-woo replied. Thomas Chen, Madison Cooper. Chen's eyes sharpened. Cooper. That's familiar. Have we met? I don't think so, Madison lied. I've only been in Seoul a week. But you're from New York, yes? I can hear it in your voice. Brooklyn, originally. I worked NYPD for 15 years. Maybe our paths crossed. Madison felt Sang-woo's thumb stroke her waist, a gesture that looked affectionate but was pure warning. I doubt it, she said lightly. I try to avoid cops, parking tickets and all that. Chen laughed, but his eyes stayed sharp. What do you do, Madison? I invest. Small scale, mostly creative ventures. And? Now you're investing in Seoul? Something like that. Chen stepped closer. Madison smelled his cologne, something expensive, trying to mask something rotten. You should be careful, he said quietly. Seoul can be dangerous for American women. Things happen. Terrible things. Madison felt rage rise in her throat like bile. This man, this creature who had helped cover up Lily's murder, was threatening her. I'm well protected, she said, leaning into Sang-woo slightly. For now, Chen said. He smiled, all teeth. Enjoy the auction. He walked away. Madison started to follow, but Sang-woo's grip turned to iron. No, he said quietly. He threatened me. He tested you. You passed. I want to hurt him. Later. Tonight, we're gathering information. The auction began. Art, jewelry, experiences, all going for obscene amounts to support a children's charity that Madison now knew was a front. She watched the ring's members bid, tracking who spent what, who competed, who collaborated. Webb appeared halfway through, younger than Chen, smoother, with politician's charm and shark's eyes. He found Madison during a break, introduced himself, asked careful questions, she deflected with careful answers. You seem familiar, he said, the same probing Chen had done. I have one of those faces. No, Webb said. Your face is quite distinctive. Madison felt Sang-woo appear at her elbow before she saw him. Prosecutor Webb, he said coolly. I didn't know you were in Seoul. Special occasion. And please, it's just Webb now. I'm in private practice. How liberating. The undercurrent between them was sharp enough to cut. Webb excused himself quickly. Madison watched him go, memorizing his walk, his gestures, the way he held his champagne. He knows who I am, she said quietly. Possibly. It doesn't matter. After tonight, everything changes anyway. What do you mean? Sang-woo checked his watch. In approximately 10 minutes, several of these people will receive disturbing news. Their offshore accounts will be frozen. Their blackmail materials will be leaked. Their carefully constructed worlds will begin to crumble. Madison stared at him. You're attacking them? Tonight? With me here? Your presence is my alibi. Who brings a date to a massacre? This is insane. This is justice. Around them, the auction continued, oblivious to the storm about to break. Madison saw Elizabeth Hahn bidding on a diamond necklace, laughing with a ambassador's wife. Michael Park discussing shipping routes with an executive from a logistics company. They had no idea their empire was about to burn. The first phone rang at 9:47. David Kim pulled out his cell, frowning. His face went from confused to alarmed, to enraged in seconds. He stepped out quickly. More phones rang. Elizabeth Hahn, Michael Park, others Madison did not recognize. The atmosphere shifted, tension crackling through the room like electricity before lightning. Chen appeared at Madison's side. We need to talk, he said to Sang-woo. About what? You know what. Sang-woo smiled, cold and satisfied. I really don't. This is a declaration of war. This is a charity auction. I'm simply supporting children in need. Chen's face flushed. You think you're untouchable? I think you should check your bank statements. Chen pulled out his phone, scrolled quickly, and went pale. Madison watched him realize his fortune was gone, scattered to the digital winds. You're dead, he whispered to Sang Woo. Get in line. Chen turned to Madison. You have no idea who you're with, what he is. I know exactly who he is, Madison said. The question is, do you know who I am? Chen frowned. What? Cooper. The name really doesn't ring a bell? 3 years ago? Riverside Park? Understanding dawned in his eyes like a horrible sunrise. Lily Cooper's sister, he breathed. The one you told to move on. To accept that some cases never get solved. Chen stepped back. This was you, both of you. This was justice, Madison said. Long overdue. Around them, the charity gala was dissolving into chaos. People leaving quickly, phones pressed to ears, voices rising. The ring's members fled like rats from a sinking ship, not yet understanding the ship had already sunk. Sang Woo took Madison's arm. Time to go. They walked out calmly while the world burned behind them. The valet brought the Bentley. They drove into the Seoul night, leaving destruction in their wake. They'll come for us, Madison said. Let them. This isn't over. No, Sang Woo agreed. It's just beginning. Back in the penthouse, Madison kicked off her heels and walked to the window. The city looked the same, but she knew it had changed. The ring had taken its first real blow. The files you released, she said. How much damage will they do? Enough. 3 prosecutors will be disbarred by morning. 5 cops will be arrested. 2 judges will resign. The ring's financial network is exposed and frozen. But the leaders? Will regroup, try to salvage what they can. That's when we hit them again. Madison turned to face him. He had removed his bow tie, loosened his collar. He looked tired, but satisfied, a warrior after a successful battle. Thank you, she said simply. For what? For letting me be part of it. For not keeping me locked away while you fought alone. You earned it. The way you handled Chen and Webb, that took strength. I wanted to kill them, but you didn't. That's the difference between justice and revenge. Is it? You killed Park Jong-soo. Park was different. He was active, immediate threat. Children were going to die within days if he lived. Chen and Webb are parasites, but their removal serves us better alive and exposed than dead and martyred. Madison walked closer to him, studying his face. How do you do it? Carry all this darkness and not let it consume you? Who says it hasn't? You're not consumed. Damaged, maybe. Driven, definitely. But not consumed. How can you tell? Because consumed people don't provide laptops and gourmet meals to their hostages. You're not a hostage anymore. You're a partner. Then I can leave? If you want. Madison considered this. She could walk out, return to her life, her podcast, her small Brooklyn apartment. She could pretend the last 3 days had not happened. But Lily was still dead, and now Madison knew why. I'm not leaving, she said. Not until this is finished. That could take months. Years. Then I guess you're stuck with me. Something shifted in Sang Woo's expression, a softening that transformed his face for just a moment. There are worse fates, he said quietly. They stood there, predator and storyteller, united by shared loss and common purpose. Outside, Seoul glittered, unaware that war had been declared in its shadows. Madison's phone, still in Sang Woo's possession, buzzed. He looked at it, frowned, and handed it to her. A text from an unknown number. You made a mistake tonight. Lily wasn't the first. You won't be the last. Madison showed it to Sang Woo. They're scared, he said. Good. They're threatening me. They're revealing themselves. Every action they take exposes them further. He took the phone, forwarded the message to someone. My people will trace it. And then? Then we hunt. The next days blurred together. Madison moved from prisoner to partner, working alongside Sang Woo to map the ring's remaining network. The penthouse became a war room, tablets and laptops spreading across every surface. She learned Sang Woo's world was larger than she had imagined. He had people everywhere. Hackers, informants, former victims turned warriors. They fed information constantly, building a picture of an empire in collapse. Elizabeth Han is trying to flee to Singapore. One report came in. Let her go, Sang Woo said. We have people waiting. There. Michael Park is moving the remaining product, another reported. Intercept, carefully. Save the victims first. Madison watched him work, orchestrating destruction with the precision of a conductor. He was ruthless but not cruel, focused but not obsessed. Every decision had purpose. Late one night, she found him on the balcony, looking out at the city. The temperature had dropped, autumn asserting itself. He was in shirt sleeves, seemingly immune to the cold. "You should sleep," she said, joining him. "So should you." "Can't. Too much in my head." The curse of intelligence. Madison laughed softly. "Is that what this is?" Among other things, they stood in comfortable silence. The city below pulsed with life, oblivious to the war being fought in its shadows. "Tell me about her," Madison said. Minji. Sang-woo tensed, then relaxed. She was brilliant, stubborn, funny in unexpected ways. She wanted to be a pediatric surgeon. Said children deserved doctors who would fight for them. "She sounds amazing." "She was. She would have liked you." "Why?" "You don't accept easy answers." Neither did she. Madison felt tears prick her eyes. "Lily would have liked you too. She always said I needed someone who could match my intensity." "Is that what I do? Match your intensity?" The question hung between them, charged with possibility. "You exceed it," Madison admitted. Sang-woo turned to face her fully. In the dim light, his edges softened, the dangerous man becoming something more complex. "This is complicated," he said. "Everything about this is complicated. When this is over, you'll go back to your life. Your podcast. Your world." "Will I?" "You should. This darkness, it stains everything it touches." Madison stepped closer. "I'm already stained. Have been since the night Lily died." "That's different." "Is it?" Sang-woo reached out, his fingers ghosting along her jaw. "You still have light in you. I can see it." "Maybe you do, too." "No, that died with Minji." "I don't believe that." "Why?" "Because dead things don't fight this hard for justice." Sang-woo's hand cupped her face properly now, thumb stroking her cheekbone. Madison leaned into the touch, surprising herself with how much she wanted it. "This is a bad idea," he said. "The worst," she agreed. Neither of them moved away. The moment stretched, elastic and fragile. Then Sang-woo's phone rang, shattering it. He answered in Korean, his expression hardening with each word. When he hung up, the dangerous man was back. "Chen is dead," he said. Madison felt the world tilt. "What? How?" "Suicide. Apparently." "Left a note confessing to numerous crimes, including covering up your sister's murder." "That's not possible. Chen would never." "No, he wouldn't. Someone killed him, staged it." "The ring?" "Cleaning house, removing liabilities." Sang-woo moved inside, already pulling up files on his tablet. "Webb will be next. Then anyone else who could testify against the leadership. We have to stop them. We have to be smarter. They're panicking, making mistakes. Chen's death is sloppy. There will be evidence." Madison's phone rang, her editor. "Madison, thank God. Are you okay?" "The news about Thomas Chen." "I'm fine." "What are they saying?" "Suicide. Confession. Tied to a trafficking ring." "Madison, he mentions your sister. Says he covered up her murder." "What the hell is happening?" "I'm finding out. I need a few more days." "This is connected to your soul story, isn't it?" "Everything's connected. I'll have everything for you soon." She hung up. Sang-woo was watching her. "Your editor seems concerned." "She should be. People are dying. People have been dying for years. Now they're just the guilty ones." A message came through on Sang-woo's phone. He read it, his expression darkening further. "Webb's been taken into protective custody. He's cooperating with authorities, trying to make a deal." "That's good, right? He'll expose the ring. He'll expose what benefits him, and what he knows is limited. The real leadership stays hidden. So what do? We accelerate. Force them into the open." "How?" Sang-woo smiled, cold and sharp. "By giving them what they want. Me." The plan was insane. Sang-woo would leak his location, make himself a target, draw the ring's assassins out. Madison would be nowhere near the violence, safely tucked away in a different safe house. "Absolutely not," she said when he explained. "This isn't a negotiation. You made me your partner. Partners discuss plans. Partners don't get each other killed. You think I'm weak? I think you're untrained." There's a difference. Madison paced the penthouse, frustration building. You can't just dangle yourself as bait. Watch me. What if something goes wrong? Then you tell my story. Make sure people know what we were fighting. Stop talking like you're already dead. Sang Woo caught her shoulders, stilling her. Madison, this is what I do, what I've been doing for 6 years. Trust me. I do trust you. That's the problem. His hands gentled on her shoulders. What do you mean? Madison looked up at him, memorizing his face. The sharp angles, the dark eyes, the scar she now knew came from the night he tried to save Minji. I mean, I care what happens to you. Somehow, in 5 days, you've become important. Stockholm Syndrome is common in hostage situations. Madison pulled away. Don't diminish this. This is adrenaline and proximity. This is recognition. You see me, the real me, not the grieving sister or the obsessed podcaster. You see Madison. And I see you, not the ghost of soul, not the killer. Sang Woo. He was quiet for a long moment. Then, that's why you need to be safe. I can't do what needs to be done if I'm worried about you. And I can't sit in a safe house while you face them alone. You won't be alone. You'll have work. I need you to compile everything, create the story. If something happens to me, nothing will happen to you. Madison. No. You don't get to make me care and then ask me to accept losing you. The words hung between them, raw and honest. Song Woo moved first, closing the distance between them in one fluid motion. His mouth found hers, urgent and desperate and absolutely perfect. Madison responded immediately, her hands fisting in his shirt, pulling him closer. When they broke apart, both were breathing hard. This complicates everything, Sang Woo said. Everything was already complicated. He kissed her again, softer this time, like he was memorizing the feel of her. Madison felt herself melting into him, wanting more, wanting everything. But he pulled away. After, he said. When this is over, when you're safe, we'll explore this. Promise? I don't make promises I might not be able to keep. Then don't get yourself killed. I'll do my best. The next morning, Madison was moved to a different location. Not as luxurious as the penthouse, but secure, comfortable. She had all the files, all the evidence, everything she needed to tell the story. Sang Woo kissed her goodbye like a man going to war. Be safe, she whispered. Be ready, he replied. When this is over, the story needs to be told immediately. Then he was gone. Madison threw herself into the work. She organized everything chronologically, created timelines, charts, connections. The story that emerged was staggering in scope. The ring had operated for over a decade, destroying hundreds of lives, maybe thousands. Hours passed. Her secure phone, provided by Sang Woo's people, stayed silent. Then, finally, a message. Contact, 5 down, continuing. Madison exhaled relief. He was alive, fighting. More hours. Another message. Webb assassinated in custody. Inside job. Documented. The ring was cannibalizing itself, desperate to prevent exposure. Then nothing. Hours of nothing. Madison paced, worked, paced again. The sun set, rose, set again. Finally, her phone rang. It's done, Sang-woo's voice, exhausted but alive. You're okay? Define okay. Sang-woo. I'm alive, mostly intact. The ring's leadership is dead or arrested. We have everything. Madison felt tears stream down her face. Come back. On my way. When he arrived, Madison saw what mostly intact meant. His arm was in a sling, a cut across his forehead, bruises everywhere visible. But he was alive. Madison threw herself at him, careful of his injuries. He caught her with his good arm, held her tight. It's over, he said into her hair. The ring? Finished. The authorities have everything. Names, dates, victims, everything. The story breaks tomorrow worldwide. Madison pulled back to look at him. We did it. You did it. Your investigation. Your courage. I just pulled triggers. We did it, she repeated firmly. Sang-woo smiled, real and warm. Yes, we did. The story broke like a tsunami. Madison's exclusive podcast episode, released simultaneously with news reports worldwide, exposed everything. The ring, the cover-ups, the murders, the victims. She told Lily's story, and Minji's story, and dozens of others. She did not name Sang-woo directly, referring only to sources within Seoul's criminal underground, who had provided information and assistance. The ghost of Seoul remained a ghost. Within days, arrests spread across 3 continents. The ring's members fell like dominoes, each desperate to make deals, exposing more names, more crimes. Madison became the face of the story, interviewed by every major outlet. She told the truth, or at least the parts that would not compromise Sang-woo's other operations. Through it all, Sang-woo stayed close but hidden. He was there when she returned to her hotel each night, watching from the shadows, ensuring her safety. "You could come forward," she said one night. "Take credit. Credit isn't what I was after." "What were you after?" "Peace. For Minji. For me. Maybe I found it." Madison curled into him, careful of his still healing injuries. "What now?" "Now you go home. Tell more stories. Save more lives with your words. What about you? Seoul still has shadows that need attention. What about us?" Sang-woo was quiet for so long, Madison thought he would not answer. "You deserve better than a ghost," he finally said. Madison sat up, facing him. "I deserve the truth. And the truth is, I love you." The words hung between them. No taking them back. "Madison, I know it's fast. I know it's complicated. I know there are 1,000 reasons why this is impossible. But I also know that in 1 week, you've shown me more truth, more purpose, more life than I've felt in 3 years. I'm dangerous. You're necessary. I have enemies. Now they're my enemies too. You could have normal, safe, simple. I don't want those things. I want you." Sang-woo reached out, tracing her face like he was memorizing it by touch. "I love you too," he said quietly. "That's why you should go. That's why I'm staying. Madison, I'm staying, not in this hotel, not as your kept woman, but here, in Seoul, with you. I can run my podcast from anywhere, and there are more stories to tell here. This is my world. It's dark, then let me bring some light to it." Sang-woo pulled her close, kissing her like she was air, and he had been drowning. Madison responded with everything she had, pouring 3 years of grief and 1 week of transformation into the connection between them. When they broke apart, both were crying. "Stay," he whispered. "Always," she promised. 8 months later, Madison stood in a warehouse in Seoul. Not the same one where she had witnessed Sang-woo kill a man, but similar. Industrial, cold, full of ghosts. "This is where we met," Sang-woo said, though they both knew it was not literally true. It was close enough, the same district, the same type of building where their story began. Madison's podcast had exploded in popularity. 500,000 subscribers now, with a book deal and documentary in the works. She had told dozens of stories from Seoul, each exposing corruption, saving victims, bringing light to darkness. And through it all, Sang-woo had been there. Not the ghost of Seoul anymore, but not fully legitimate either. He had transitioned his organization, focusing on security, protection, investigation. The violent edge remained, but purposeful, controlled. They had built something together. Not simple, not safe, but real. "I have something for you," Sang-woo said. Madison turned to find him on one knee, a ring box in his hand. Her heart stopped. "Madison Cooper," he said, "you witnessed my worst moment and chose to see more. You could have run, should have run. Instead, you stayed, you fought, you saved me in ways I'm still discovering. Sang-woo, you make me want to be more than a ghost. You make me want to be a man worthy of your light. I know I'm not there yet, may never fully be there, but I want to spend my life trying. Will you marry me?" Madison looked at the ring, elegant and perfect, then at the man holding it, the killer who had become her protector, the ghost who had become solid and real and hers. "Yes," she said, dropping to her knees to kiss him. "Yes, always yes." He slipped the ring onto her finger, then held her face in his hands. "You witnessed my worst moment," he repeated. "Let me give you my every moment after." "Every moment," Madison agreed. "The dark ones, the light ones, all of them." They kissed in that warehouse, surrounded by shadows and ghosts, and the echo of gunshots that had brought them together. It was not a fairy tale ending. It was better. It was real. Outside, Seoul pulsed with life and secrets. There would be more stories to tell, more shadows to illuminate, more monsters to face. But they would face them, together. The ghost of Seoul and the woman who had made him real. The storyteller and the story she would never stop telling. Madison and Sang-woo. Love found in the darkest places, proving that sometimes, witness to horror could become testimony to hope. Their story was just beginning.